Primary tests tomorrow for two of the highest profile Republican critics of the former president. Voters in two states are heading to the polls for several statewide races, but all eyes are on Wyoming Congresswoman Liz Cheney and Alaska Senator Lisa Murkowski. Of course, Congresswoman Cheney, first elected the same year as former President Trump, was one of 10 House Republicans who voted to impeach him, costing her her leadership position. She also serves as the vice chair of the House January 6th committee and has railed against the former president's actions before, during, and after the insurrection. Now she's facing the fallout. According to a recent poll, Congresswoman Cheney is trailing her Trump-backed opponent, Harriet Hageman, by nearly 30 points. We have team coverage tonight, NBC's Ali Vitale in Anchorage, Alaska. But first, Vaughn Hilliard in Jackson, Wyoming. Vaughn, is the writing on the wall for Cheney?
This is going to be an uphill battle for her. Ultimately, it's not only Republican voters that come out tomorrow. Liz Cheney is relying on Democratic voters here to change their party registration to come out and vote for her. But the difficulty is that Republicans outnumber Democrats here by a 4-to-1 margin. In the hope, back in May, when I was last out here, I was at a Harriet Hageman rally with Donald Trump. Harriet Hageman is that Trump-endorsed candidate, longtime GOP activist, land use attorney here, who has relied on Donald Trump's backing to propel herself in this campaign. And the hope from the Cheney side of this political party was that after these public January 6 hearings, that Republican voters would be swayed, that her crusade against Donald Trump here to ultimately bring some sort of justice from the Capitol Hill attack and the election lies that he had propagated in those weeks after the 2020 election, that it would make sense to Republican voters and they would come to her side. But the polling indicates that's not what's happened. Take a listen, though, to two of the voters who we've talked to.
I was done with Liz Cheney way before January 6th. I follow politics enough to know how she votes. She votes with the Democrats way too often.
I will be voting for Liz Cheney because she has common sense and she promotes democracy, and the other ones do not. And I'm just tired of it.
That woman, Sue Green, a Democratic voter, and in so many ways, you could look at the Republican state of politics over the last 2 decades. It's this race in Wyoming that is really a symbol for the wild transformation that it's undergone here over the last 20 years. Kayla?
Polls close in 2 hours. Vaughn Hilliard in downtown Jackson. Vaughn, thanks. In Alaska, Republican Senator Lisa Murkowski appears to have a much better chance at surviving her primary race. She just has to place in the top 4 spots to move forward, thanks to the state's new ranked choice voting system. Senator Murkowski was among 7 Republican senators who voted to convict former President Trump on an impeachment charge of inciting an insurrection at the Capitol. And last month, Mr. Trump called her the worst and essentially labeled her his #1 target. NBC's Capitol Hill correspondent Ali Vitale is live in Anchorage tonight. Ali, what are people on the ground saying there, and how long until we will know the outcome?
Yeah, Kayla, this is not something that we're expecting to see results on in the immediate aftermath of voting day, in large part because Alaska is a huge state where so many of these voters vote by mail. Takes time for those ballots to come in, and then the ranked choice voting system on top of that means they just need a little bit more time. So you shouldn't expect to see results for at least a week, election results certified by the end of the month. So they're in for a little bit of a waiting period here. But look, for Senator Lisa Murkowski, labeled one of Trump's #1 targets in these midterm elections, she faces an uphill battle, but she's also no stranger to that. Everyone here talks about that infamous 2010 write-in campaign that she mounted. They know that she is someone who can face tough election battles and still win. It's something she's hoping to do, but this is really a moment that tests Trump's influence in the state. He's endorsed one of her opponents, but you're right, at least for the short term, all she has to do is make the top 4 here, and it's expected that she'll do so.
Ali, former Alaska governor, former vice presidential candidate Sarah Palin is also on the House ballot tomorrow. How far will her name recognition get her in the state?
It could take her pretty far here, Kayla, but this is where that new ranked choice voting system comes in, because it's never been used before in Alaska, but it's going to be what they use to decide who finishes out the rest of the late Congressman Don Young's term. And this is the strategy that Republicans and Democrats alike are going to have to play, because the way that ranked choice voting works is you're not just choosing, if you're an Alaska voter, one candidate. You are instead ranking them 1 through 3. These kinds of systems tend to benefit candidates who are a little bit more more consensus building for firebrands like Sarah Palin. That's not necessarily the MO that she has here on the ground with voters. The question is going to be if they see her as someone who can represent them in Congress in a Republican Party that, frankly, she was to the right of when she first came on the national scene, but that in many ways in Congress has now come to meet her. Now they're going to decide whether or not they're going to put her as their representative there. And the way this would work, Kayla, is whoever comes in third out of those three candidates is eliminated. Their voters are then divvied up based on the voters' second choices, and that's how they're ultimately going to get the winner here.
We know you'll bring it to us. Ali Vitale on the ground there in Alaska. Ali, thank you.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.